Taichung Tzu Chi volunteers contact a borough chief to improve the home of a local senior. Tzu Chi volunteers help dig a well in Zimbabwe to aid locals and help epidemic prevention efforts. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is Dai Headlines. Let's get started. In Taiwan, Tzu Chi Foundation helps many families in need. However, there's a grandma in Taichung who has rejected volunteers' help, leading a borough chief to communicate with her directly. Take a look.
I have 2 children. My daughter has moved out after getting married. My son does not live at home. Look, they've been damaged. The termites have bitten some things. That's why it is damaged. This is how I live. I don't have lawns, so I don't worry about it. As long as I'm safe, it's okay. My dog sleeps with me. If there are snakes on the ground, he will bite them. There are many snakes. That's why I say that I've been bitten many times since young. I've been bitten 3 times on one leg. They're poisonous. Pointed scalp viper, bamboo cride, and green bamboo viper.
Some families are underprivileged and they really need people to help them to improve the environment so they can live more safely. Tzu Chi's home improvement plan is like what we call preventative measures. If something could happen, we should prevent disasters, right? This is a very good idea. Everyone is very surprised. Although we offer help, people reject our help. We feel that we should make measurements immediately and prepare to purchase necessary materials to start the construction. We need to schedule the construction. Strictly speaking, their beliefs are more traditional. They do not want to trouble other people if they think they can get by.
In early July, heavy rains led to floods throughout China, including Jiangxi's Boyang County, where the riverbank burst and many towns and townships flooded. Tzu Chi volunteers went there to assess damage and plan disaster relief. Here's more.
The residents look at their flooded homes helplessly. So the volunteers have come to provide care.
The deepest water level is up to 4 or 5 meters. Now the water has receded, it might still be 3 meters tall.
In July, heavy rains led to floods. Poyang Lake has also reached its highest water level in history. Changzhou Township has been devastated.
Changzhou Township is the most severely hit township in Boyang County. It is 23 square kilometers large, and the 15 villages have all been flooded.
We have discovered that in 1998, Tzu Chi volunteers have come to Changzhou, so we have deep affinities with this place.
Volunteers have come again 20-some years later. Upon seeing volunteers, residents took out the supplies they have received in the past. Volunteers have also come to Lianhu Township, where the paddy fields and homes are flooded. Affected residents are staying at a local elementary school in the meantime. Seeing how they're sleeping on bamboo mats on the ground, volunteers' hearts go out to them.
We hope every child will become better. Yes, if you think positively, everything will turn out for the better.
In the aftermath of floods, volunteers comforted the affected residents with love, hoping to accompany them as they rebuild their homes.
China's Hunan province is famous for its 4 rivers streaming into Dongting Lake. Though the scenery is beautiful, Dongting Lake experienced rising water levels over the past 2 months, flooding 290 households, affecting 800 residents. Upon hearing the news, Tzu Chi volunteers took action.
Here in Hunan province, 4 rivers stream into this lake. Dongting Lake has quite beautiful imagery, yet heavy rain this year has been a source of much trouble.
今天我们慈济志工来到了湖南的沅江。
Today we came to Yuanjiang City. The place is completely flooded. We are looking at the Lianhua Isle right now.
Lianhua Isle is a man-made island in Dongting Lake. Boats are part of normal life for 2 residents, since it is surrounded by water. Tzu Chi volunteers follow a guide to visit the residents.
家里的家具呢，那些包括电器啊，家具全部大路的上面了，高一点，前面那些那样高一点。这个冰箱也放到这里了。哦，冰箱也搬过来了。这个也不得了，也不搬。
The village of Lanhua used to have 1,243 people, but after the incident, there are only 300 left. Unable to return to their homes, they took shelter.
给了7个。对。这个不还好睡不？啊，我有现在这个说明了。还可以是啊，可以。
Tzu Chi volunteers took care of affected residents, listening to their needs and concerns.
We used to rely on money made from fishing, but the government prohibits such activity now. I haven't fished for a year. I have no income.
Residents with no income are fearful. After the flooding stopped, most of them moved their furniture out, but they also worry about a second wave of flooding might hit soon.
今年已经碰了3次了。
3 floods this year. I've been busy moving furniture from house to house, top to bottom. When the waters come, I will have to do it all again.
Some residents, who normally rely on the lake for income, now dwell in boats.
像这2个船就是住了2户人家，一条船住1户。
2 families live in these 2 boats, a boat for a family. They're able to cook here. They can also sleep in the back or on top of the boat. It's very hot in here. Right here, my hand could feel the heat around this area.
During the visit, Tzu Chi volunteers understood the residents' situation and taught them how to recycle. Furthermore, volunteers also promised to provide aid to them as soon as possible.
As floods continued in China, Tzu Chi volunteers from all over the country are assisting. Yanqi Township in Hunan Province is the worst-hit township. Residents have been affected by heavy rains and flood discharge from the dam, causing them to struggle with flood waters. With the support of the local government, Tzu Chi officially held the distribution. 113 affected households received daily supplies and emergency cash to get through the difficulties.
一看灾区，好多的房子还淹在水里面呐，一片的狼藉。 就心里特别的不忍心，真的就像我们的家人在受灾受苦。
验词箱已经到了。下了1个多月雨啊！
It has rained for more than a month, and our corn and soybean crops are all gone.
就全部都没什么。
I'm very grateful to our government leaders and believe in our Tzu Chi very much. They are willing to let us walk into the disaster area, let us care for our victims, and send this love to this place.
When someone is suffering, everybody come all the way to help the needy. Upon learning our suffering in Shimen, Tzu Chi Foundation came regardless of the high mountain and the hardship of the long journey.
This time, there are 22 households that have collapsed and 92 non-disaster affected households. A total of 113 received the help. I'm really touched. The kind of comfort I cannot express from my heart.
$3000块钱啊，开心不？啊，感谢啊，感谢啊，健康的哈。
我相信明天会更加美好，因为有生命在，就有一切。
In Zimbabwe, water is scarce and barely enough for survival, let alone used for cleaning hands. To help, Tzu Chi employed a drill truck to dig and rig a new water well to solve this water supply problem. They also donated some medical supplies to help prevent the spread of germs.
This water well needs to provide water for 870 families, but it's clearly nearly empty.
The water level is very low. We are in desperate need of water. Sometimes we wake up at 3 a.m. to fetch water, and the next person has to wait until 6 a.m. for the water to refill itself.
The well water is barely enough for people to survive, but to rely on it for hand washing is impossible. As the residents wait in anticipation of the new water well, the health department takes the chance to educate.
We need to use clean water and sanitizers to clean our hands.
We need to use hand sanitizers and not soap. This way we can avoid touching public surfaces.
Though they advocate for good hygiene practices, the truth is the department lacks in medical supplies. Thus, Tzu Chi donated 2 infrared thermometers and 500 masks to alleviate their shortage.
We are so happy for this, as the department has faced a shortage problem in many of the medical supplies. Surgical masks and thermometers are things we need right now.
With good hygiene education in place, the residents know more about keeping germs at bay. Thus, they made a foot pedal to pump the water to avoid hand contact.
Now we won't be having a shortage of water, and life will be easier for everyone in the community. We all thank Tzu Chi for the support of this.
This new well is giving the local residents a healthier life.
So the new residential quarters in Yonghe District, New Taipei City, is a public housing built on a former military dependence village. Tzu Chi volunteers started recycling in this community in 1998. After more than 20 years, a friendly group of recycling volunteers have become as close as sisters, working 2 fixed days, 2 days a week.
At so the new residential quarters, we do recycling here every Tuesday and Saturday. We have been doing it here since 1998. We are led by Sister Mei He.
因为我住在这里也是很久了。
Because I have lived here for decades, everyone knows me. When I have done everything in the house during the day and there is nothing else for me to do, it's okay to do some charitable things.
做一些公益的事情。
Minnesota, new residential quarters was built upon a former military dependence village. There are many residents here, but the surrounding environment is still very clean. For more than 20 years, it's all due to the efforts of these mothers.
Like a family, we get up and we start doing recycling, rain or shine.
I don't have much to do, and I saw people doing recycling, and I wanted to do it with them. I know how to do manual work, so I can do recycling.
This group of women with an average age of 80 did recycling and sorting 2 days a week, rain or shine.
Taking the opportunity to do recycling also gives us a chance to chat honestly. This is because many people are usually closed off and there's no chance to speak. For this, I am very grateful to Master Zheng Yan to give us a chance to do recycling. Therefore, we can talk regularly for 2 hours. Really, we are like good sisters now. This is really rare.
This is Tzu Chi's Shoda New Residential Quarters Recycling Point. Has been in operation since 1998. After 4 different relocations, originally a roadside metal shack, but now moved to a corner of a convenience store. Hong Meihe is a core person in this group.
I did recycling for 7 years in Wuchen Street, and then I moved over here. At that time, I was doing it by myself at first. Later, Sister Xiuyin and the others also moved here. Then Sister Xiuyin came and do it with us together. And then my neighbor He Yuehan and Lu Taomei saw me alone doing caring work, and they all joined in one by one.
Driven by volunteers for more than 20 years, residents have become accustomed to environmental cleanliness at the source. Almost every household will sort and clean the recyclables before the volunteers take them away.
I'm older now, and my heart is a little enlarged, so I can't carry too much weight. Our sisters are very caring and rush to do this work for me.
Volunteers' efforts to recycle have also affected nearby neighbors. Ms. Wen has been recycling for 15 years. Every time bottles and cans are handed over to Tzu Chi, they're cleaned with rainwater and bleach.
We try our best so that the other people living next door don't complain. It's true that we need to make sure that everything is clean and tidy. We cannot just collect recycling and make the areas messy. This is what I believe, and I think that is one of our basic responsibilities.
2 days a week and 4 hours of work is the persistence of this group of women have shown. They look forward to the power of purifying the earth and hope more people will join them.
The Shoda recycling station is like a group of neighbors who have become sisters. The more work you do, the better the relationship will be. We are grateful for this field of blessings. We preach to work hard and continue to do this work long into the future.
In the Philippines, Tzu Chi grounds continued with renovations through the epidemic, providing workers shelter and food to lessen their burdens. An individual from the south was glad that he had the opportunity to work, not only so he can receive rice, but most importantly, pay for his son's medical bills.
Unlike other construction sites, Tzu Chi grounds in the Philippines continued with its renovation process. Kending from the south acquired a stable income. He planned on using the income for his son's medical debt. Soon, I will be able to pay off the debt since I can save up here. The shelter and food here provides me an opportunity to send my checks home to my family. Kending's son had a car accident, which brought along large medical bills. Just as he made a journey to the north for a job, he ran into the epidemic, which decreased job opportunities. He later on found a job at Tzu Chi grounds. Besides him, many impoverished workers found help here.
During the epidemic, several enterprises had to cut manual labor. The workers at Tzu Chi grounds appreciate their opportunity to work here. Tzu Chi welcomes them too.
Tzu Chi is offering shelter and giving workers rice. Kending promised to become a volunteer to return the kindness he received from Tzu Chi.
In 3 short months, Taiwan companies are reporting a reduction of working hours and are struggling to survive during the pandemic.
If looking at the teams working on lighting, filming, and editing, it might seem like this is a photography studio, when in fact it's a manufacturing company. Putting together the parts or solving the malfunctions, this company's vocational training materials are being added to cloud data.
If you take notes, everyone might write down something different. But if you used a video to film the process, then everyone is getting the same information.
This company manufactures wire-cut EDM machines and other precision machinery, which have been exported to 36 countries in the world. Their European customers make up at least 50% of their sales. But as the pandemic spreads throughout the world, their orders have also diminished.
The first quarter influence was about 20% decrease, and from the second quarter on, about April and May, our orders have been only 30% of previous years.
When the world's economy comes to a standstill, exporters are the first ones to be affected, then domestic businesses. According to the Ministry of Labor's calculations, Taiwan's unpaid leave, notwithstanding different categories of businesses, reached a high of some 1,300 companies by the end of June this year, as opposed to the 109 companies at the beginning of March. Compared to sitting around worrying about the future, this company is using this temporary break to strengthen their team by doing extra vocational training. And with subsidy from the government, these employees are still getting paid.
We're using resources from the government to accommodate our future growth. With the decrease of orders, there are lots of training the company can provide. We're using this time to improve the skills of our staff.
Reflecting, honing, and improving, all for the next break in business. Under this pandemic's economic downturn, every business has their own journey to travel on. Mr. Yang Guangwei is saying something lots of companies are wishing for.
Our orders are overloaded. Each day we work until midnight. We have been lucky.
His boom in work began because of a small problem he encountered when wearing masks.
I wore a mask about 2 days and my ears became red. I thought, why not use the 3D printer to make something to help ease my discomfort? I printed a few extenders and shared it on Facebook. And that day the message in my inbox and the comments total about 2,000 pieces of orders.
His idea to design an extender for comfortable mask wearing led to him submitting a patent for the invention.
We were given about near 5,000 extenders for our community residents to use. People who have a need can come by to pick it up. We are extremely moved to have received this donation.
While in it for the profits, Yang is still generous and thinking of others.
I have a bit of ability, so I donated some of these extenders for the frontline healthcare workers and firefighters.
Yang was a volunteer firefighter for 6 years, and now he has a full assembly line to make the mask extenders. Although it may seem like the luck of the draw for him, what many people may not see is the hard work and dedication he's had to put in.
The Kaohsiung and Tzu Chi Children's Choir shared a stage with 3 volunteers from Mozambique, making for a very memorable performance. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.